Let me paint a picture and see if any of this feels familiar. There's a couple in their early 30s, both college educated, both hardworking. One works in marketing, the other in tech. Together, they earn well into six figures. On paper, they're doing everything right. They should feel secure, comfortable, confident about the future. Instead, they feel anxious. Their savings would barely cover a few months of expenses. A surprise car repair last month went straight on a credit card. Vacations feel stressful instead of relaxing. And most nights, they're too exhausted to even enjoy the time they have together. What makes this so confusing is that they follow the rules. Degrees, careers, marriage, combined finances, a home in a good school district. No reckless spending, no wild lifestyle. So why does it feel like they're constantly one problem away from falling behind? If you've ever looked at your household income and thought, we make good money, so why does this still feel so fragile? This video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about a quiet financial pattern that affects millions of modern families, especially dual-income households, and why earning more doesn't automatically mean feeling safer. For decades, we've been told a simple story. Two incomes are better than one. It sounds obvious. If one paycheck can support a household, then two paychecks should mean comfort, savings, and progress. But real life didn't play out that way. Instead of extra breathing room, many families found themselves under more pressure, not less, more stress, more fixed expenses, less flexibility. This pattern has a name. It's often referred to as the two-income trap. The idea comes from research on household finances that found something surprising. Families with two earners weren't more stable. They were often more exposed to financial shocks. Not because they were irresponsible, because their entire financial structure depended on everything going perfectly. To understand how this happened, we need a bit of context. Several decades ago, most middle-class households relied primarily on one income. That income wasn't luxurious, but it covered the basics: housing, transportation, food, healthcare, and still left a small cushion. More importantly, there was unused capacity. If something went wrong, illness, job loss, disruption, there was another adult who could step into the workforce if needed. That second income acted like an emergency lever, not a permanent requirement. Fast forward to today. In many households, both adults are already working full-time. The backup plan is no longer a backup, it's the default. Every paycheck is spoken for before it arrives. At the same time, the cost of core necessities has risen sharply. Housing consumes a larger share of income. Childcare has become a major expense. Healthcare costs are higher and less predictable. Education-related costs have steadily climbed. So even though households may earn more in absolute terms, the margin for error has shrunk. Let's slow this down and walk through what often happens with a second paycheck. In general terms, on the surface, an extra income feels powerful. But once you look at how it interacts with the real world, the picture changes. First, there are taxes. Additional income often face higher marginal rates, meaning a noticeable chunk never reaches your bank account. Then come work-related costs: childcare or supervision, commuting, transportation, and vehicle expenses, meals on the go, convenience spending caused by time scarcity. Then there's something less obvious: energy costs. Two exhausted adults usually have less time for cooking, maintenance, planning, and coordination. That often leads to higher spending on convenience, not luxury, but survival-level shortcuts. By the time everything is accounted for, the second income often contributes far less to long-term stability than expected. And yet, decisions are still made based on the gross number. Here's where things quietly tighten. Because the combined income looks strong, households size their lives around it. A mortgage approved based on two salaries, car payments designed for dual cash flow, commitments that assume both paychecks will always be there. Technically, it works, until it doesn't. If one income is disrupted, the problem isn't just less money coming in, it's that the entire cost structure was built assuming both incomes would continue indefinitely. There's no slack, no pause button, no unused capacity left to activate. That's why financial stress often hits suddenly and hard, not gradually. One of the most misunderstood parts of this issue is where the money goes. For most families, the pressure doesn't come from extravagant choices. It comes from housing, childcare, healthcare, education access. These are baseline participation costs in modern middle-class life. When many households gain more earning power at the same time, prices adjust upward. The advantage disappears, and the new level becomes the minimum required just to stay in place. That's how two incomes become the entry ticket rather than the advantage. So what's the alternative mindset? Instead of asking, how much can we afford with both incomes, a more resilient question is, what could we maintain if one income paused? Some households choose to structure their fixed costs, housing, transportation, core obligations, so they could survive on one income if necessary. That doesn't mean rejecting progress or comfort. It means separating security from income size. When fixed costs are lower, the second income becomes flexible rather than essential. It can build reserves, absorb shocks, create options, buy time and choice. Over time, that flexibility compounds into something far more valuable than appearances: control. Financial strength isn't just about how much comes in. It's about how much room you have when life changes. The households that feel calm under pressure aren't always the highest earners. They're the ones who preserve the margin, who didn't let every raise turn into a permanent obligation. They kept optionality alive. And optionality is what turns income into security. The real risk isn't earning too little. It's building a life that requires everything to go right. Two incomes aren't automatically bad, but they lose their advantage when every dollar is committed before it arrives. Awareness is the first step out of any trap. Once you see it, you can make choices with clarity instead of momentum. If this video helped you see household finances from a new angle, consider liking and subscribing. We explore money not as rules to follow, but systems to understand.